Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gerard. Today's video is going to be a special one in the sense that today's video is dedicated to all of you guys out there. In recent weeks passing, a lot of you have sent me messages asking me very nicely to do a video on the R.M.A.C 2023 and to tell you my side of the story, how I managed to win the PMC event. So I guess that's what I'm going to do today, and I think the best place to start here is to tell you a little bit about my shooting background. I've been shooting for more than 30 years of my life now, and I've worked my way up to become a professional shooter for my country, South Africa. I started to compete in the World Rimfire and Air Rifle Bench Race Federation. Until this day, I'm still shooting all the divisions in both air rifle and rimfire classes. These shooting classes take a great amount of concentration and a lot of skill to compete in. I will say without a doubt that this is where I learned most of my basic shooting skills and how to read the wind. This year I qualified to be part of our national team to represent our country in the WRABF World Cup in the Czech Republic. For the precision shooting department, I compete both in the PRS Centerfire and the PRS 22 divisions. These two classes take a lot of physical and mental practice to compete in. It's always a race against the clock while you have to keep your focus on steady shooting. From all of these shooting classes, I've gathered a lot of information, and that I compiled into my preparations for R.M.A.C 2023. So now that you guys know about my professional shooting career a little bit, it's time to tell you what I did for preparations for the R.M.A.C 2023 PMC event. Now from the get-go, I knew that Utah Airguns is not going to give us an easy course of fire, and I also knew beforehand that the best shooters around the world will be invited to this event. Now there's two approaches you can take for preparations. One, you can take a chance and just go there and rely on shooting skill and roll the dice and hope you win. Or two, you can put the time and the effort in and practice your ass off. And guess what? I took option number two. Now, precision shooting is all about building a solid shooting position and making sure that you make every shot count. You need to know your ballistic data on your gun setup, and you need to know how to read the wind. The objective here is to get on target as quick as you can and follow up with a controlled, steady shot. My whole foundation of training was built upon these basics. With every practice day, I was running a lot of shooting drills, and I focused mainly on good shooting technique and form. One of the biggest things for me is to be comfortable with my gun, and this is why I built my air rifle to match up with my PRS Centerfire match gun as well. So this is the exact gun that I've used at the R.M.A.C 2023 PMC event. The only differences here is afterwards I've added an extra grip here from Saber Tactical, which is different, and I've added the new front Saber Tactical weights to this gun as well. Otherwise the whole gun is exactly as what I used it at R.M.A.C 2023. On top I've got an Element Theos. Inside my barrel I've got a Superior Heavy Slug Liner. It's a 1/16 twist. I was shooting 1,005 feet per second, 34 grain H&N heavy slugs, the 218 caliber. At the back I've got this Air Marksman 300cc bottle here. This bottle gave me that extra 2 to 3 shots extra on the fill, and that helped me out quite a bit. Before every single stage I've purged my gun at least 2 times, and this is very, very important. This gave this gun that little bit of an edge to be more accurate from shot 1, so that was also very key at this event. In the front, obviously I've got my gun weighted down. There's some really heavy weights here. I've got a Saber Tactical front arc rail here as well, which is amazing. Other than that, the gun is basically exactly the same as was I used it in the past. The gun shoots very, very good. Something that I did also a long time ago is I tried to match my two guns with each other, and if I say two guns, I mean this PRS 22 gun versus my PRS Centerfire gun that I've got over there. Those two guns is similar in weight, number one. Number two, the scopes is also very similar in the way that the reticles is similar to each other, so when I look through the one, it looks very similar to the other one. Also the vertical grips on both the APW stock and the Saber Tactical grips, it's also very similar. It feels, you know, pretty much at home when I shoot both of them. Both guns in lengthwise is very similar, so I feel very comfortable with both these guns shooting PRS, and that definitely gave me also a big advantage in this competition. So feeling happy with my preparation, it was time to fly out to Utah. On my way there, I made a stop in the Netherlands to help a good friend of mine called Martijn to finish off his new big bore gun. Martijn is a specialized gun builder, and you might have seen some of his guns on my channel before. Martijn uses me for my expertise as a professional shooter and my knowledge that I have on bullet ballistics. A few days later, we left the Netherlands and arrived in Salt Lake City to pick up our ride. Well, this is going to be my ride for R.M.A.C 2023, one of my favorite cars, a Charger with a beautiful Hemi inside. This is going to be good. A few days later, we headed over to Utah Airguns to do our registrations for the R.M.A.C event. At the shop, I met up with some old friends, and it was great to catch up on the year that went past. R.M.A.C is not just for shooting, but to reunite the Airgun Nation as well once a year. On practice day, the wind was bad, and I knew zeroing a small caliber gun like my FX Bethera is gonna be a waste of time. Fortunately for us, this was a good opportunity to shoot the big bore gun like the new Fusion arms Martijn has built. Whoa, we're shooting a new big gun for the big bore this year, and it's a brand new make. It's a Fusion arms. Most of you guys might have seen something very similar on my YouTube channel. It was called a PTE, and I've got a good friend of mine, Martijn Bekema. He's from Holland. He's the builder of this gun, and he has very politely asked me this year to come and shoot this bad boy. So yeah, very exciting. 255 foot-pounds of beautiful energy.
Wow, amazing, brother. Thank you. Good luck this week.
Thanks, buddy. With the practice day over, it was time to start the event the next day. The following days was the 100-yard bench race competition and the speed shooting events. There were some really crazy scores this year in the bench race department, and you can see that a lot of shooters really practice hard. In this case, I was not one of them, because I put all my focus and energy into the Precision Marksman Challenge event for this year. I did not enter the speed challenge this year because I wanted to keep my focus and my energy levels up for the next day. While the speedsters battled it out, I was making some mental notes in my head on the course of fire that was yet to come.
Best shooters in the world are here. We're going to see who's the best today. Here we go.
And with that being said, it was time to kick things off for the Precision Marksman Challenge of 2023. Upon arrival that morning, the wind was up and it was very cold. This made me feel right at home due to the fact that I was very used to shoot in windy conditions like this. As the day progressed, the wind started to die down and it started to get hotter and hotter. I knew that this factor would play a big role on my POI, so I made sure that I made adjustments through each stage. The aim here was to remember the biggest key factor in a PRS event like this. Fast is slow and slow is fast. And if you spotted me on that day in the field, you would have seen me in a very focused mind. Through the whole event, I was in my own little world and I concentrated on one stage at a time. I never thought about my current position or the score during the whole event. Each stage was like a little competition on its own for me, and until the last stage, I managed to keep my game face on. After the last shot was fired, I turned around and I knew that I did my best. And I knew that my best this time will give me the top position.
Thanks, man. First, second, third, fourth. Yeah. We came running down here because we thought Welch and them. Nice shooting, bro. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Good shooting.
Just finished off the Precision Marksman Challenge at the Rocky Mountain 2023 and I managed to get P1. I am stoked. I can't explain to you guys how I feel at the moment. Like I said, I'm just out of this world. The feeling is amazing. Been practicing so hard this year. Battled through a lot of matches. There were some really awesome shooters this year, but like I said, I was I made it. I made it to #1. So yeah, I'm very, very happy, but it doesn't stop here. Still busy prepping now for the big board challenge. I'm going to shoot with my friend Martijn now, and we'll see if we can get something done on that side as well. So yeah, very, very happy, and I'm super stoked. The final results for the R.M.A.C Precision Marksman Challenge looked like this. Myself in first position with 830 points, followed up with R.M.A.C in second position with 780 points. In third position we had Chris Simmons, also with 780 points, but with 1 second slower than R.M.A.C in a time stage. Also something worth mentioning here is that my fellow South African Matt Dubber also managed to get a 6th place, and it's always good to see 2 South African flags in the top 10. For the R.M.A.C 100-yard bench race finals, the result looked like this. In top position was my good friend Thane Simmons with a new event record of 239 and 10 X's, followed up with his father Val Simmons with a 237 and 9 X's. My good friend Nikolai also came into third position with a score of 236 and 11 X's. Really good shooting from everybody in the top 10. So there was one last thing for me to do for the R.M.A.C 2023, and that was to team up with my good friend Martijn Bekema so that he can shoot the big board division. I was on the spotting scope giving him some shooting solutions while the master was sitting behind the gun and pulling the trigger. Through the whole course of fire, Martijn only missed 2 targets. On the first miss, Martijn unfortunately forgot to dial back his turrets, and on the second miss, he had a premature trigger pull. Now these 2 errors pushed him from first place to second place, but he still managed to make a huge mark in the big board division with his new gun. I'm very sure that you guys are still gonna see a lot more of Fusion arms in the future to come. With R.M.A.C done and dusted, it was time to go down to the banquet. As usual, it was at a beautiful venue and everyone had a good time. That night, Martijn received his 2nd place silver medal with a cash prize of $1,000. And a few moments later, it was my turn.
Okay, and in first place for $20,000, who absolutely smashed this competition. And he smashes everything he looks at because he's a big dude. We got Head On Slammer. Yeah! Score 830. He's also here with his sponsors, H&N Slugs, who he was using in that first place win. And also Aaron Hipp in second place was using H&N Slugs. So, congratulations. Congratulations, everybody. Get him up there high. Big, show it all proud. Get that trophy up high too. Don't be a sissy. Come on.
Well, today I got this bad boy back from the framing company, and it's time to go hang it up in my man cave with my other awards. Just before I go today, I need to give out a couple of shout outs. First of all, big shout out to my sponsors out there. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for supporting me. Without you guys out there, this would not have been possible. Second, a massive shout out to Justin Jacobson, Austin James, and the Utah Airguns crew. You guys knocked it out of the park again with hosting the biggest and the best airgun event in the world, hands down. For everybody who's watching today, just listen what I'm going to say to you now. If you haven't entered the R.M.A.C yet, then you haven't entered any event yet. So make sure that you enter next year. I want to see you guys over there. And then lastly, but definitely not surely, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's watching this video today. Thank you for this channel who has been supporting me all this way till now. Thanks for your best wishes. This one over here was especially done just for you. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.